Make me taller. Alright, meat sacks. Let's get to work.
Yeah, look who came out to play.
I was programmed to protect Katie. The only question is, are you going to stand in my way? Hold on to your vaginas.
I don't care if she did kill 4 people. She is a smoking hot warrior princess.
I'll make you a deal. You can kill Gemma, but don't touch Katie.
M3GAN.
Welcome back to the Nerdy Grail and welcome back to another movie review. This time I'm going to be reviewing M3GAN 2.0. That is why I've got my M3GAN Steelbook Collector's Edition and regular Blu-ray in the background. I have just come back from the cinema after watching the sequel to 2023's M3GAN, or M3GAN, but M3GAN 2.0, which is a sequel that a lot of people did want because M3GAN, the first one anyway, was highly successful. Another one of those killer doll franchises, but done in a scarier, more uncanny way. You know, M3GAN, the animatronic or AI doll character, looked really realistic. You know, was the height of a little girl at the time, and so it had a bit more of a scare factor to it. And obviously, it being another horror sci-fi movie, you know, also under Blumhouse, who do some fantastic movies. You know, we expected high things, and obviously Blumhouse have been knocking it out of the park lately with their recent movies, at least in my personal opinion anyway. I know some people are a bit hit or miss, but I think they do a fantastic job. I will admit, and I know a lot of people were, when the trailers for M3GAN 2.0 came out, not the teaser trailer, I'm more talking about the official trailers where they showed more of the plot about how it's going to be M3GAN going up against this new AI animatronic or killer doll known as Amelia, and it looked a bit more actiony, a bit more like John Wick or, you know, Fast and Furious, you know, a bit of a different style. It was like shifting the tone a bit. Everyone was a bit like apprehensive on it. And I must admit, I was a bit worried as well. I wasn't sure this was going to be my cup of tea. Now, I like those sort of films, but when M3GAN is practically penned as a horror movie, you know, of another killer doll style horror movie, and then you shift that to an action spy thriller, you know, Mission Impossible style movie, it's a bit of tonal whiplash, and I didn't think they would be able to pull it off. Do I think they knocked it out the park? In my personal opinion, I don't think so. Is it a bad movie? I don't think so either. I think it was a fairly enjoyable movie. It'll definitely be one of those controversial movies that will literally split a fandom, them saying they should have stuck with the horror, or it's good that they went down this route, you know, because it branches it out more. But yeah, I'd say overall, it wasn't a terrible movie. It was a fairly enjoyable movie. It had a fair few laughs out of me, surprisingly, which I didn't expect. And did it have any scares? No. Should it be penned as a horror movie? Not really. But like I said, you know, it does carry on after the events of the first movie, you know, and all the characters that you do see, you know, like Katie and Gemma and obviously M3GAN are all done pretty much in a similar way. There's good character growth in this movie for each of your returning characters. I would say like M3GAN goes through a pretty big arc herself. You know, how in this movie now she's practically trying to learn a bit more about gaining a bit more of a personality, you know, becoming her own individual self. You know, in the first movie, it was all about her trying to protect Katie, and that might involve hurting people in really bad ways. But in this movie, she still wants to protect Katie, but she's also allowing Katie to grow as a person and also to protect herself. You know, M3GAN's also gaining this good relationship now with Gemma as well. And all the while trying to save the world from this killer Amelia, who is this ultra AI crime-fighting martial arts expert device using old programming from M3GAN, who was originally penned to like help the military, you know, solve mysteries and infiltrate bases and stop crimes, but then went rogue and tried to take over the world. And so they have to call upon Gemma and Katie and all to revive M3GAN in order to find a way of stopping this Amelia. And I said it is fairly good. It is fairly enjoyable. I would say pacing wise, it does take a little while to get going. Like Amelia as a character is really, really interesting. The look of her is pretty good. She looks practically like you wouldn't even be able to tell that she was, not real. You would definitely be mistaken, but her movements are all really good. I love the voice that she puts on. I think it is all fantastic. Same with M3GAN, how obviously they've upgraded her. She's taller, due to actresses and all getting older since the first movie. The new outfit as well, which you see in the teaser trailer and on most of the posters, is there, but only for like one scene. She does spend a lot of the film not in the iconic M3GAN look or even the updated version of the iconic M3GAN look, which was a little disappointing for me. But I think overall, though, it is fine. And it is what it is, really. They have some great changing locations. I will say, though, that the villain twist was sort of really predictable. You got Christian, who, is, got this relationship with Gemma, this old partnership with Gemma, who comes back in this movie. And it turns out that he's actually the one behind the Amelia program, about stealing the plans from Gemma and upgrading a better version of M3GAN. You find out that he's behind it all in the end, which was not a surprise to me or my fiance at all. We totally saw that coming. And that's the problem with going down this Mission Impossible, John Wick style, is they usually have quite predictable villains. And that is the case here. You do get a noble sacrifice at the end from M3GAN, but again, bit predictable though is, they were never going to truly kill off M3GAN, because we thought they did in the first movie, but turns out they didn't. They pull the same card again in this movie, where we think that M3GAN has killed herself, like as a sacrifice, because she's gone through this arc of realizing that she needs to let Katie go, let Katie be her own person. She's grown as well, grown to trust, grown to feel. She's a lot more than just another AI program now, which is an arc that goes through the whole movie, and Gemma's trying to get over the prejudice of, well, I built you, you're just a machine, but now she's got to learn that she's more than just a machine. And so obviously M3GAN achieves that by the end, sacrifices herself, but doesn't really. She does end up coming back, after they save the world. It is a good movie though. I will say I did enjoy it, but there was just one or two bits that I thought could have been done a little bit better. Like I said, the villain, predictable. There was also stuff in the trailer. Like there's one scene in the trailer where M3GAN is versing Amelia and says, you can do whatever you want with Gemma, but don't harm Katie, or something along those lines. That wasn't in the movie, so I feel like there's a little bit of misleading going on there, because we were all waiting for that, especially my fiance. But that never ended up happening. But yeah, I enjoyed it. What can I say? I enjoyed the movie. I know this is a bit of a rambly review, but it is all still just frying in my mind. I might do like a proper M3GAN franchise video where I can truly break down this movie a lot more. This is just like my initial thoughts and ramblings after coming out the cinema. So forgive me if it does seem a bit of a jumbled mess. I will say that on the horror front, it doesn't really do it for me. It is not a scary movie at all. So I don't really know why it's still penned as technically a horror movie. It is definitely not. Sci-fi, yeah, I'd still say it's that. But I'd also say action, personally. The first movie was definitely the horror one of the two. Will they do a third one? I'm not sure. I mean, they've definitely set it up at least open-ended, so a third movie could happen. And I wouldn't be surprised if they did in the future, because I do believe this movie will be successful, at least I hope it is. And maybe M3GAN might cross over with other franchises as well. Who knows what will happen in the future. But what would I give M3GAN 2.0 if I was to give it a score out of 10? I would say, for me, I'd give it a 7. I'd give M3GAN 2.0 a 7 out of 10, where it was fairly enjoyable, nothing spectacular, but nothing horrendous either, in my personal opinion. I know other people might think differently, but that's just my opinion. But that is going to be my quick little rambling of M3GAN 2.0. Like I said, I will probably do like a M3GAN franchise video at some point in the future to give you a bit more of a detailed look into my thoughts and the overall plot. But I hope you did enjoy this video. If you did, please like it by giving a thumbs up and comment down below. Have you seen the original M3GAN? Have you seen M3GAN 2.0? What are your thoughts? Which do you prefer? and subscribe if you are new. But for now, this is the Nerdy Grail signing off. I hope you've had an amazing day, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye for now, everyone.